Okay, it is time. We need to have this talk. You know you need to talk about your work, right? I mean, you know that it's part of the business to promote it, do you? Because at least once per month, I read messages of random small business owners saying, I'm sorry, how do I show up without feeling cringe? How do I promote my business without feeling too pushy? And I know how that feels. I know that it feels like standing, jumping on the table and yelling, look at me, look at me. I know that because sometimes I also feel that too. Like I felt it so much in the past and I still do sometimes. But there's another way of seeing this. And especially because I know it feels, I really need you to stay with me today. There's two parts in this video. The first one is the reframe, the second one is the practical part. Don't skip the reframe, guys, because without the reframe, everything that I'm gonna say later won't make sense. So, first of all, the cringe doesn't come from the promotion itself. The problem is not saying that you have a business, it comes from promoting yourself for the wrong reason. When the goal is to be impressive or look better than anyone else, of course it feels gross. I mean, you need a serious dose of overconfidence to do something like that, right? I mean, and most of us, introverts, we usually don't work like that. We usually don't like to brag. But we do want people to understand what we do and trust us enough to work with us. But with this thought comes the first hard question of the day. And it's, what if talking about you wasn't actually about you? What if it's all about the person that's on the other side and that's exactly looking for the solution that you can provide, that is struggling with the problem that you can solve? The moment that you understand or remember that your work actually helped someone, the cringe disappears because you're not promoting yourself anymore. It's not about you. You're just making sure that the person that's actively looking for the type of solution that you can provide just finds you and knows that you can help them. That was it. That wasn't a bet, right? I kept it short and sweet for you. Now, once we have this in mind, we can go to the practical part. Let's talk about a very nice tool for us introverts, and it's the case studies. One of the most powerful things that we can do is to talk about our work. And not because we're bragging, but because we're showing what actually happens when people work with us or use our product. And please, no inflated numbers, no fake reviews. Let's never, ever, 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 ever do that. If you don't have the numbers, it's fine. Just talk about what happens. What happened actually, because it's probably a case study in the past. You basically just need to show how you and your client work together through the problem that they also have, like your potential client also have, so you can show them how you know that and you can resolve it for them too. And if I think about my reviews or my case studies, I bet no one is reading them thinking, wow, she's so annoying. Look at those numbers. I mean, like, why would you do that? Because when someone is considering working with you, they don't think that your results are annoying. They just think, oh my god, this is what I need. I want them too. So again, it's not really about you, it's about the solution that they are looking for. By the way, if this kind of reframe feels useful to you, consider subscribing to the channel or my newsletter. And this is exactly the kind of stuff that I talk about, so subscribe now or you will lose the channel. Now, writing about your business is one thing, but what about an actual sales conversation? Look, I will be honest here. I am not the best at cold selling. People think that marketing and sales are the same thing. It's not the same job. Full disclosure, I also paid a lot of money to get help in the past because it's hard when you are like me, like us, I guess. And the best lesson that I learned is actually that my entire assumptions on sales were completely wrong. I thought that I had to be super confident, that I had to be pushy, that I had to convince people. I thought that I had like those sales gurus, they're like taking calls and like bouncing a ball on the wall, or or taking the call in the bikini, sunbathing, and closing a 10K deal while sipping a cocktail. Is it my Instagram broken, or do you also have these? Please tell me that you do, because I see them. But Susan Cain, in her book Quiet, that's beautiful by the way, talks about a record breaking salesman, an introvert, and like his entire strategy was basically the opposite of that. And it was amazing because he didn't pitch anything, he didn't push, he just asked questions and, drum rolls, listen. And that was my second lesson too, or more like a realization, because I actually connected the dots and I realized that the best sales calls that I had ever were the ones where people felt seen, because I was just having a conversation and I was listening and they felt understood. And by understanding their problems, they were open to listen to my solution because it was matching. So, once more, if you think about it, the best sales calls that I had were never about me, it was about them. And I still remember when I was younger and in the past, like I did question myself when I didn't want to take on a job because I wasn't sure I could deliver. And I was really thinking, I was like, oh, maybe I should be more pushy, maybe I should fight a little bit more for that. But thank God I kept doing that, because in time I learned that integrity, it's like karma, it pays back. So you don't have to fake anything, you don't have to do anything flashy, you don't have to convince anybody. You just need to listen to the person and offer a solution if you have one. And when you drop this nasty belief that you have to convince people and simply start trying to understand them, where they're coming from, what they need, you're playing a completely different game. I swear. And this is not just for service providers. This is also for products, because people buy from the person or the brand that make them feel seen. I always say. And introverts, they're pretty good at that. Remember it. Remember, that's your superpower. And so the most beautiful lesson that I learned about sales is that 90% is listening and 10% is just knowing what to do with the information. That's it. And I know that some of you actually now might say that they're struggling talking money, but that is a completely different topic. So this is another video. And actually, if you want me to talk about that, just leave me a comment and I will try to cover the topic. Or if you have anything in mind that bugs you, leave a comment. I will try to do the video on that. All right. So in practice, what do? We talked about case studies, right? Thinking about one person, not 100. Think about the specific person you want to talk to and help. Think about what they're worried about and write them. The more specific that you are, the better it is. The more that will feel like a normal conversation. 2, don't talk about yourself, talk about the transformation. So again, instead of starting with you, start with the results that they can get with you, because that's exactly what they're looking for. You are just the tool to get there. 3, share your mission, share your style, your method. Don't just talk numbers. What makes you or your brand different? What gains can you give to them that competition can't? What things, what patterns have you seen coming up again and again and again in your experience? Show how their life can change with you and you only. So this is the type of content that builds trust without bragging. Because you're not saying, I am great. You're saying, this is my method, this is my style, this is my experience, this is what I can give you. This is how we can deal with the problem you're having right now that I already dealt with multiple times. That was all for this week. Thank you so much for staying with me. I hope that this is gonna help you change the way you see now promotion. See you.